26th season represents the 25th year for Pro Modified Drag Racing in the NHRA. It's a run that began at the NHRA Gatornationals, where we begin our season in the 2026 timeframe. It's a run that began with two cars crashing into each other on burnouts during the very first run that ever happened at NHRA competition, and has brought us some of the most thrilling championship moments that the NHRA has to offer. The Gatornationals kick off not only the Pro Mod season, but the entire NHRA Mission Foods Drag Racing Series Tour as well for this year, and it's going to be one for the books, as it always is. Welcome everybody inside the timing tower here at Gainesville Raceway. Brian Loans and Bruno Massel to bring you coverage of the NHRA Pro Mod Series, which, in some breaking news, has received a title sponsor. JBS Equipment and Elite Motorsports have stepped up here at the Gatornationals to pick up that title sponsorship.
Yeah, that's great. You know, this category now has a solid foundation to keep building off of and keep growing it year in and year out. You know, the thing is, a lot of people have been running Pro Mods all winter long, right?
Yes.
You had the Winter Series going on, stuff going on in Qatar, but the difference about NHRA is it's quarter-mile drag racing,
yes,
the way God intended it.
250 miles an hour at a time, elapsed times down in the 570s, a very strong field of cars here, including the defending champion, J.R. Gray, the series champion, who will try to go back-to-back when we get to the road to the championship later this year. It's an expanded schedule for Pro Mod in 2026, 11 races instead of 10, and number one is here in Gainesville, and number one on the window is worn by J.R. Gray.
And your world champion in Pro Mod gets to carry the number one on his race car this season. But JR, you've been staying fresh overseas. How does that keep the competition behind you?
It just keeps you up on the wheel. You know, you're practicing every day, basically. You know, we're honored to be carrying the number one and the number 3 spot this year, and we're going to try to go back and do 1 and 2.
Do you feel they're coming for you?
Oh, I always feel like I got a target on my back. You know, it don't ever stop.
JR Gray, ready for it this season?
There's a lot of big names chasing J.R. Gray this year. A lot of big personalities in this category as well. They're all in the pits. Let's meet a few of the names that will be vying for a 2026 NHRA Pro Modified Championship run.
What's up, guys? Lyle Barnett here at the Gatornationals, opening up the 75th season for the NHRA. This weekend I'm driving for Billy Banica, substitute driving for him. He's got a wedding to attend to at home, and he made the call to me, which is truly an honor to be able to come out here and compete. I love the NHRA. I love running quarter mile. And I'm excited to kick the season off here with 15 other badass drivers.
Derek Menhold, the 2026 NHRA Pro Mod season is just kicking off in Gainesville. Looking forward to a new year. Lots of changes, some new faces. It's going to be a good year for us out here.
So Stan Shelton here with Team Shelton Motorsports. We've got these 2 Fords jacked up with some KTR SF1 Hemis under the hood, and we're looking forward to some good results through the year.
I'm Kevin Mark. I drive NHRA Pro Mod for Team Shelton Motorsports and Cope Lumber. Get to go to some new tracks, South Georgia Motorsports Park and Rockingham Dragway. This season ought to be very good for us.
Hey, I'm Travis Harvey here at the Gatornationals, subbing in for Justin Bond. First race, Pro Mod this year. I'm just excited to be here to start off the season. Hopefully I can make some rounds for Justin, get lucky and win the race.
What's up, everybody? Alex Laughlin here. We are teamed up again with Mike Janis. This is absolutely the best place to be in the absolute best category, most competitive. They better bring their boxing gloves because it is an absolute knockdown, drag-out fight.
Bruno, you know it and I know it. We have watched a lot of great action over the years, and here is our first competition ladder of the season.
Yeah, number 1 qualifier, Mike Stavrinos, will be taking on Chip King. The other side, Travis Harvey, the substitute driver who can get it done against Mike Castellana. Tough field of Pro Mod cars here in Gainesville.
Dive right into it here with Thielen going red, 13 red. Derek Menholt in a car that just won the World Series of Pro Mod may have spread its motor out across the racetrack, but Menholt is moving on to the next round in that Scott Tidwell Racing Chevrolet Camaro that Aaron Stanfield drove to last week's win. Then it's Sidney Frigo and Stan Shelton squaring up. Frigo in that Batmobile-looking C7 Corvette, and Sidney getting the job done against Shelton.
Yeah, great drag race there. The edge on the tree going to Shelton, but Sidney Frigo having the tune-up out the back end. Now, that is a good-looking car. Looks evil, if nothing else, for that Art Vinco car as it moves on to the next round.
The Brazilian Batmobile as Lyle Barnett and Mason Wright come off the starting line. Barnett only 3 thou ahead of Wright in Billy Banica's car, but he is quicker by a ton. 569 beats a 576.
Yeah, that's just 100th off low for the weekend. Great run there for Lyle Barnett.
And for Travis Harvey, completing the burnout, and this is bad news for him. Subbing in for Justin Bond, the car oiling the racetrack on the burnout, so the JBS equipment car is retired before getting a chance. Bruno, the last time we saw Harvey was at Charlotte a season or two ago, and he showed up and won the race. He could have been a big threat.
Yeah, he's got ice in his veins, to say the least. Knows how to get down a racetrack, as does Mike Castellana, one of the legends of Pro Modified, former world champion there. Gets the single to advance, goes 579 at 247.
So after Castellana made his run, the safety safari sprung into action, and this was a reasonably significant cleanup as a lot of oil came out of the car. It actually moved everything to the nighttime as Rivenbark and Jackson lined up, and Stevie Fast Jackson was looking at the wrong end of this one. 75 beats an 81.
Yeah, CB Fast was quick off the tree, but just didn't have the horsepower to get that one done.
Alex Laughlin and Jason Scruggs squared up. The Mississippi Missile taking on the Camaro that is aligned with Mike Janis Racing, and it is Laughlin, a 570. Look at the two drivers, 31 and 33. They're on top of that end of it.
Both Aldenas are J.R. Gray and Nick Janik. J.R. Gray with the advantage at the tree by a couple hundredths of a second, and that's going to put him into the next round. A 575 beats a game 576 for Nick Janik.
And if you're a champion, that's the way you want to start a year. Mike Stavrinos, the #1 qualifier, is not going to get out of the first round as number 16, Chip King, is going to beat him. Stavrinos' car got out of the groove, and Chip King got around. And let's watch this one again.
Yeah, you know, #1 versus 16. Not a layup here in Pro Modified, as that thing hiked the wheels up high, drove out towards the wall. He had to lift, and Chip King in a brand new car advances to the next round.
So a big upset victory here for the veteran Chip King. Lyle Barnett's on to round #2, and the Amley Motor Oil Gatornationals Pro Modified action powered by Fuel Tech continues right after this break.
SiriusXM is the ultimate audio destination for the biggest sporting events and FS1 shows. Fox Sports is available on SiriusXM Channel 83.
Pato O'Ward was born with his foot on the gas. You could put him behind any wheel. He'd still have groupies. Fortunately for the people of Concord Acres, Pato chose to drive here. You want to catch Pato O'Ward? Welcome to the fastest racing on Earth.
I feel like I lose track of at least $500 a month.
Yeah, maybe that's because you still use spreadsheets. Haven't you heard of Rocket Money?
No, but you're probably going to cut me off and tell me about it.
It's an app that tracks your spending in real time, lowers bills, and helps you find and cancel sneaky subscriptions.
Sign me up.
Stay on track with your finances and download Rocket Money today.
Your credit journey starts here with a secured self-Visa credit card. With high approval rates, it's a great option whether you're just starting out or rebuilding your credit. And as you use it and make payments on time, you can build your credit one step at a time. Visit Self to apply.
Hey, I'm Daniel, one of the founders of Ridge. My dad and I realized that most wallets are falling apart, stuffed to the max, and barely fit in your back pocket. So we set out to create something better. Ridge is built to last a lifetime and is the perfect balance of modern style and durability. Find yours at ridge.com.
Stop, check this out. Our most advanced performance frame, Talon, is out. It's a bestseller. We just got it back in stock, and I want to show you a little bit about it. These come with our signature lost and broken protection, and you can try them risk-free for 30 days. Check them out at shadyrays.com.
At JBS Equipment, we're not just building equipment. We're building the future of agriculture. Driven by innovation, grounded in tradition. JBS Equipment, the field's the limit.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S. Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away. Competition Products, race parts sold by racers since 1970.
Racing has always been about pushing limits, but the future isn't just horsepower. It's intelligence. Vision FT isn't just software. It's a platform, a new way to see, a new way to control, the future at your fingertips. Built for today's racers everything that comes next. This is Vision FT. This is Fuel Tech.
The Emily Motor Oil NHRA Gatornationals are presented by Fuel Tech. Performance in your hands.
And so our 16 qualified drivers, as they do on Sunday mornings, get their hats, got together for a group photo to kick off this season. And as we saw in the first round just moments ago, making the field is one thing, but advancing out of the first round in this category is certainly another. Here we are for round number 2 with Chip King coming back into the program to take on Derek Menholt. And we're going to get a look at the round 2 ladder right now. Some pretty good upsets on this one, Bruno.
Yeah, that was the biggest one. That number 16 beating number 1. You've got Laughlin versus Gray, the 4 and 5 cars, Castellana and Frigo from 15 spot, Castellana and Rivenbark 14 to 6. So we got number 16, 15, and 14 all represented here in the second round.
Both cars have completed their burnouts. We'll find out if King can continue his upsetting ways and punch his ticket against Menholt. This is the car that was driven just 1 week ago by Aaron Stanfield to a victory at the World Series of Pro Mod. It was put back into NHRA legal trim, but it is an absolute proven commodity.
Yeah, to say the least. And for Chip King, this is a car that they just debuted at this race. Actually, the first laps were in testing a couple days ago on their way down here to Florida. So a huge achievement for that team just to get to the second round. Advantage of the start. Chip King's 11 on the tree, but doesn't have the tune off to hold off Menholt in that 571 at 250.
No shame in the game for Chip King here. Good solid run. The 0-11 reaction time just did not quite have the aggression in the first 60 to 330 feet of the run. As we watch, you can see Menholt outpacing him handily through that first half of the run. And after that, it was all Derek Menholt in a trip to round number 3, the round of 4. Solid run by the man from Montana. J.R. Gray, who mentioned spending his entire winter overseas, staying sharp with the Alanabi Performance Camaro. Gray looks over and sees Alex Laughlin sitting there.
You know, Alex is a guy who's driven just about everything, spent some time in a Nitro Funny car, obviously pro stock, outlaw radial stuff. You know, he likes to race. That's pure and simple. Doesn't really matter what he's sitting behind. He just likes to go out here and compete. He does a great job with his father. Walks away as he stages up against the world champ here in the opening round.
Great to see Kenny Laughlin at the racetrack, as he has been for so many years, as you mentioned, Bruno, with Alex. Man,
wow.
Laughlin had a pedal the thing, and he pulled the wheel stand.
Wow, I mean, it really hiked the wheels up there. Both these drivers on the game at the starting time, 12 and 18. It's like a bracket race, but J.R. Gray at 573 is Alex Laughlin. Let's look at this thing again.
Squirts sideways a little bit, then it shakes the tires, and he rips the throttle, and it just climbs right up on its hind legs. Meanwhile, J.R. Gray has nothing to worry about in the other lane.
Yeah, he's pretty much straight and true down the groove in that run. Kind of a run you'd expect out of the reigning world champ.
And here comes Lyle Barnett in the Banneker Camaro. Be interesting to see what Barnett can muster up here. He was in the mid-20s in round 1. That is Kevin Rivenbark, the Culp Lumber Company, 71 Mustang Mach 1. Beat Stevie Fast Jackson in round 1 with a Stevie Fast Hemi in the thing.
Well, for Lyle Barnett, he was not only was he sharp on the tree, but they had the quickest car of their opening round, a 569. Really getting it done. See if he can match that kind of tune-up right here in the second round. Barnett away first. He grabs it 4/100ths of a second. And he just about matches that 69. He goes 570 at 252. Once again, low for the round.
Very convincing victory here for Barnett. Talked to these guys about this car at the World Series of Pro Mod. They said, listen, we know we have a race car that can absolutely do the job this year. And Barnett is proving that with the right driver in the seat, it certainly can be absolutely unstoppable as he goes in to the semifinals. Mike Castellana, a couple of years ago, recorded his NHRA championship. Going to try to stop the Synergy Composites. That's a new C7 style body that Synergy Composites came out with that Sidney Frigo's using.
And it is gorgeous. I mean, it looks mean. It looks wicked. It's got that whole Batmobile vibe to it, especially when they leave it with that carbon fiber finish.
The major changes they made between this and the previous generation of Corvette, you can see here, the rear quarter panels, they lowered those down some. The other one was very high, and it was a kind of a high drag situation, so it was an aerodynamic improvement made.
Slight edge of the tree for Castellana. Great drag race. Castellana with the whole shot win. Brian goes 5.75.5 to beat a 5.75.5. It's about as close as it gets. It managed at the tree 7/1,000 of a second for Mike. And that does it for him as he advances to the semifinals.
That was all driver right there. Identically matched race cars. The incrementals show us near picture perfect numbers on both sides, but for Castellana, calling on that championship experience to take that Camaro, which has not been the nicest handling car over the course of the last couple seasons, into the Final Four here in Gainesville. When we come back, it will be the semifinal round. Will the reigning champion continue to a final? Will Lyle Barnett stop everybody in his path? The 4 cars that remain will do their best under the sun in Gainesville.
Nothing stops Ram. That means we deliver knockouts. Boom. We don't just ride the bull.
We are the bull. Welcome to the jungle.
We're Hemi D8s, Hurricanes, and Hellcats. And we're backing them with America's best powertrain limited warranty. We're UFC fighting, donut making, NASCAR winning Ram.
Purchase and get 2.9% financing for 72 months, plus $3,500 bonus cash allowance on most 2026 Ram 1500 Crew Cab models.
Reaching your financial goals can feel impossible. Credit Karma gives you personalized guidance to improve your credit, savings, taxes, and more, so you can find your way to money. Intuit Credit Karma. Karma you can count on.
I know how to make slick-looking goggles/glasses, but I have no idea how to make slick-looking social media stuff. But GoDaddy Aero uses AI to create social content out of thin air, like this one.
Walton Goggins goggle glasses are great gifts for all guys and gals.
Hi there. Let's get it on! What animal is suggested by this image? We all know the answer, except for that one guy. Which of these share a border with Missouri?
My family gonna think I'm stupid.
All of America will think you're stupid.
A big night of premieres, the 1% Club, followed by the Quiz with Balls, Monday on Fox.
These are just a few of the over 500,000 happy Audien hearing aid customers. They now live a better life because they hear better. And they hear better because they purchased a full pair of Audien Atom 2s for only $189. The Atom 2 is a tiny, nearly invisible over-the-counter hearing aid. They've got unsurpassed sound quality and only $189 a pair. And it's so easy to order. Call Audien.
1-800-298-8120.
Satellite internet that's fast, reliable, and installed by professionals. For work, for play, for every day. Available anywhere you call home. Visit Viasat.com/internet now or call 833-8Viasat to sign up today.
Ever worry that you're drinking too much? Take back control with Or Health. Or Health provides access to medication proven to help. A daily pill to drink less, or to quit drinking altogether. Text TV1 to 710-710 to learn more.
Well, Bruno, when we come to the southeastern United States, we know one thing. There are a lot of Pro Mod fans down here.
Yeah, there really are. I mean, this place is absolutely packed. We had a sellout here throughout the weekend, and these people know Pro Modified is, you know, let's face it, this category, it originated in the southeast part of the country, so they are loud and proud about their Pro Mod drivers, and they're fans of each and every one of them.
This weekend, the Pro Mod category powered by Fuel Tech as we get a look at our Lucas Oil ladder to set up our semifinals. Menholt and Gray on one side, Mike Castellana and Lyle Barnett on the other. And this is all experience, all talent, and all hardcore racers in the Final Four.
Yeah, not necessarily the quickest cars that we saw in qualifying, but the guys who are getting it done on race day. And a lot of that comes down to driver input, reaction time, as well as handling these cars and keeping them in the middle of the groove.
So a little fresh air there for Gray as he locks the door down, and Derek Menholt, all the way from Montana. He's escaped the winter time of Montana. We caught up with Derek and asked him about this matchup against the reigning champion.
We've raced JR a few different times last season, and it's always tough. I mean, he's got a big team behind him, so obviously with the new Hearts Charger, we're excited about what it's doing. Brandon's getting a pretty good hold of it, so looking forward to it.
Bruno, that Hearts Charger, a new centrifugal supercharger to the market, has been a sensation.
It really has. You know, a lot of people making the switch over. Oh, J.R. Gray gets really close to that center line. He's got to bring it back and does a great job pulling it back in the groove. The problem is Derek Menholt left first by about 1.5, and that gives him a whole shot victory. 574 beats it quicker, but losing 573.
I think we've seen a new version of Derek Menholt. Since he won the St. Louis race last year, this guy has been, I'm not going to say a new man, but he's driven with this type of aggressive nature, and it's paid off more often than it hasn't.
It really has. His car is straight and true, and the difference is J.R. Gray's wasn't. It fought him, got close up on that center line. He had to wheel it back, and that was probably the difference in him winning or losing that round.
And so now Lyle Barnett's turn. Now Barnett's car also uses a centrifugal supercharger. His a Pro Charger model. Pro Charger had a monopoly on Pro Mod for a while before the Hearts Charger showed up, so good competition there. And Mike Castellano, of course, using the belt-driven intake manifold, climbing up through the hood of his Camaro as tuned by Frank Manzo.
Yeah, Frank Manzo's a little bit behind in terms of performance of what Lyle Barnett's car has been running. You know, Barnett's been quick, 69, 70, where Castellano's been in the higher 75, 78 range. So they need to find a little bit of a tune-up to compete here against Lyle Barnett in the semis.
Oh, you can see it, Bruno. He was way out first.
Yeah, 006. Lyle Barnett just cuts the tree down to 65 by Castellano. And then you look at the numbers. A 570 beats a 577. From A to B, this was all Lyle Barnett.
Brilliantly done job behind the steering wheel and certainly in the tune-up of this race car. So Barnett goes into the final round with authority. The team punching their fists in the air. And for Mike Castellano, just not enough on either end of this one to get himself in. Let's talk to Lyle. He's with Amanda Busick.
Lyle Barnett into the finals here in Gainesville, and you're a hired gun here this weekend. What do you think your team owner would say to you right now?
Well, he just texted me when I got out of the car and said, man, you're trying to get me kicked out of my own car, you know, and the pressure's different when you're driving for somebody else, unlike the guys that own it. And I'm not saying they don't come here trying to perform, but it's imperative that I do if I want to get the call next week. Billy walked up to me at the World Series of Pro Mod and said, hey, man, you want to drive my car in Gainesville? And obviously my answer was yes. First time I sat in the car was Tuesday, and it's just, we've just had a hell of a week. You know, I found my way behind the steering wheel this week. Was 006 right there, which is a little too tight. I'll have to slow that down just a touch, but we were yet again low for the round. Top speed of the meet. Brendan Stroud, one of the best to peck on the keyboard, you know, and I've, like I said, I've managed to find my way behind the steering wheel, but looking to go to the final, run my good buddy Derek Menholt, have an all centrifugal final, and see if we can bring home Billy a Gatornationals trophy. It'd be a good start to his year, and I'm just pumped to be here. Thank you.
Lyle Barnett fired up and intense as always. As you can see, Derek Menholt accepting the sportsman handshake from J.R. Gray. When we come back, it'll be time for the final round of Pro Mod.
I am naturally biased because I just joined Ridge as the chief creative partner, but I'm just going to speak facts here. It's slim, it's RFID blocking, it's awesome, it's comfortable, I love it. I carry it every day. And then every wallet at Ridge.com has like an unlimited lifetime warranty, so you don't have to worry about it falling apart. Check it out at Ridge.com.
So your credit tanked, and now you have 3 roommates. Well, you're in luck, because Self will securely report your positive rent payments to all 3 credit bureaus for free. So you can increase your credit score and improve your living situation. Get free rent reporting. Download Self today.
Stop, check this out. Our most advanced performance frame, Talon, is out. It's a bestseller. We just got it back in stock, and I want to show you a little bit about it. This frame is an 8-base wrap, so it's going to sit close to your face, give you wide peripheral vision, stay on tight, but it also has a squared off lens for a versatile everyday look. And then you have comfort fit adjustable rubber nose pads for secure fit as well. These come with our signature loss and broken protection, and you can try them risk-free for 30 days. Check them out at shadyrays.com.
At JBS Equipment, we're not just building equipment. We're building the future of agriculture. driven by innovation, grounded in tradition. JBS Equipment. The field's the limit.
You may think you know drag racing, the chills, the speed, iconic moments, but this season, it's different. 75 years in the making. The crowd's locked in, waiting for that moment. The moment of realizing you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Whether you're a longtime fan or feeling earth-shaking horsepower for the first time, you're part of the story now. Expect the unexpected, April 9 through 12, when NHRA takes over Southern California. Get tickets at NHRA.com today.
Who is Amalie Motor Oil? In all 50 states, in over 100 countries, for more than 100 years, we've kept the gears turning, the pistons firing, and the machinery moving. We're the largest family-owned, privately held manufacturer of superior quality motor oils and industrial lubricants in North America. That's Amalie Motor Oil. Better than it has to be since 1903.
This is the NASCAR Cup Series on FS1. It's star power and horsepower. All gas, no brake. Week in and week out. The NASCAR Cup Series, Bristol, Sunday at 2 Eastern on FS1.
The Amalie Motor Oil NHRA Gatornationals are brought to you by Mission Foods. Now that's too fast, too tasty.
And we are back among the manatees in the warm sun of Florida. The NHRA Pro Modified Drag Racing Series now presented by JBS Service and Elite Motorsports, powered by Fuel Tech. This weekend, that is the Quintessence Diving School, and our good buddy Gus, one of our great camera guys and tech guys, is a diver, and he went under the water to get those awesome shots for us down in Key West, Florida. Burnouts can be completed here as we get a look at our final round ladder here in Pro Modified.
See number 9, Derek Menholt taking on number 6 qualifier Lyle Barnett. Both these drivers have been on their game as well as these hot rods have. You know, Barnett's been on a frenetic pair. He went 69, 70, and 70. That's bracket-like consistency with ever-changing conditions and behind the wheel of a Pro Mod car, nonetheless. Definitely impressive stuff.
Two guys with different personalities. Menholt's a quiet guy, keeps to himself, an intense competitor. Of course, Barnett, emotional, sullen sometimes when things don't go his way, but ultimately locked in. And two guys who have done a finest job as anybody on the grounds, managing differing weather conditions, differing handling conditions for their race cars as Lyle makes a steering adjustment as he gets ready to stage.
Yep, slight advantage in terms of performance has been on Lyle's side for basically all 3 rounds. Menholt's not far behind, but he's got a little gap to close in terms of getting this car off the starting line and down the racetrack.
Oh, man, he went red. He said he was going to have to slow himself down, but not enough, Bruno. And Derek Menholt's now a 2-time winner on the tour.
Yeah, he goes out there and runs 5:69. That's an impressive run for him at 251 miles an hour. Heartbreaking for Lyle Barnett, minus 003. Oh, so close. Just didn't come up his way. And for Derek Menholt, that car, it's really something right now.
It really is, winning big races and big money. Menholt's with Amanda.
Nothing like picking up the first Wally on a season, and it was on a victory from a red light from Lyle Barnett. How quickly did you know?
Well, actually, when I left, I didn't see it at first, and I looked down the scoreboard and seen it flashing. So I had, I don't know, just an amazing deal. I was worried about Lyle the whole time. He's a great driver. It's a good feeling for Billy. So, yeah, it's
a special Wally. What does that look like?
No, this is one that we've been wanting. We weren't sure if we were even to make this race, and Scott Tidwell gave us a chance to come race this car. But yeah, it wasn't kind of on the plans once he left the World Series last week to even come here. So that car's won 2 in a row. Aaron Stanfield won with it last week at the World Series too. So it's a good race car.
Bruno, they're going to be lined up around the block to drive that thing as we get ready to take a look at our upcoming events of the Pro Modified season here in 2026.
Next stop will be Phoenix, then on to the 4 wide in Charlotte, and then they get to debut at South Georgia Motorsports Park, only about 2 hours down the road.
A great way to start the Door Slammer season of NHRA drag racing in the 560s at 250 miles an hour, and it's only going to get wilder from here. An 11-race schedule in 2026, and we're taking these Pro Mod cars to some of the places